As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
I just had to go with the Big 12. They've got media days going on. Um, Yormark had some good comments, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this. He's been saying that they're going to have to play around with some different television windows, and perhaps that's going to be playing on some different days. Um, he mentioned how competitive they are and how deep the conference is going to be, which I kind of agree. I think you've got a bunch of very similar teams, but number one, the television window thing, and number two, is their depth going to be good for them or bad for them?
I the first time I met Brett Yormark when he took over, I gave him this. I said, "You can have it for free. I'm not going to charge a fee." The conference of competition. Now, with that in mind, because I think when you look at those rosters, the talent level of the rosters is going to be pretty dang close, basically across the board. And I think that is going to result in the Big 12 being the most competitive league in college football. And this is what I mean by competitive. I think if you line up all the conference games, the percentage of one score games in the Big 12 is going to be the highest.
Yep.
I think you're going to get a lot of close, exciting games. But I don't think, with the way that it looks right now and the way that it looks in the future, I don't think a Big 12 football team's winning a national championship ever again in this sport.
Yeah.
And that may sound dramatic. I believe that to my core. What, Oklahoma State's going to go win a national title? Utah going to go win a national title? Kansas State? I just don't think any of these teams are going to be capable of going and winning it all. So how big is the conversation going to be around that league? It's going to be really fun. Maybe the best way to phrase it is it's going to be the conference of competition, and it's going to be a conference that a lot of people are going to want to bet on because it's going to be really
Yeah.
fun.
Yep.
And
I think,
maybe your mark leans into that.
yeah. Well, they are having it in Vegas, Big 12 Media Days. You know, I think they're a second round conference. I think you can have a year where you got multiple playoff teams in the 12 team playoff. And I think they make for great first and second round games, like a Utah against, I don't know, the second best
Like
SEC team.
or like Utah plays like Florida State hosts Utah.
Great football game,
Utah
right?
goes and could Utah go to Tallahassee and beat them? Would it shock me? No, wouldn't shock me.
Kansas State going to play Oregon in Oregon for a playoff game, right?
Right.
They can win those type of games, but like once you get to those elite of the elite, it's going to be more and more difficult for them. But back to the depth, I think it's a coaching league, a bunch of great coaches that are perfect fits where they are and have a lot of tenure. How long has Matt Campbell been at Iowa State now?
Forever.
How long's Kleiman been at Kansas State now? Uh,
Well,
um,
Gundy's been, and we'll get to
Gundy,
Gundy. Gundy's my loser of the week. but
Gundy,
but
Utah, right?
Whittingham he may be the most tenured.
Right.
Like, he may be the only guy that's been longer in one place than Gundy.
Yeah. So you've got these set cultures and the way these teams play. I think there's a lot to love about that.
You know what this just reminded me of? Got to hit up our guy Neil Brown, get him on for his annual visit.
That's right.
Perfect man
That's
to have
right.
the conversation with. He'll shoot us straight like he always does. But I will always have. I'm always going to care about the Big 12 conference. Dad, I think I speak for both of us. Like that was our conference. Our conference championship rings say Big 12 champions on them. So it's always going to have a special place in my heart. And I want that conference to succeed. I've got no problem saying I want Oklahoma State to succeed because I care about the state I live in. I want them to have success in the Big 12. But the Big 12 is, it feels like a second tier conference. And I know that Yormark said at Big 12 Media Days, like his goal is to make it the top conference in America. He won't, I believe he said he won't rest until it's the top conference in America. Well, Brett, you're never going to rest, man, because it's never getting there.
Right.
It's just not. But that doesn't mean that conference in football and in basketball, but in football, it doesn't mean that it's not going to be wildly entertaining. And we talk about it all the time. We just want to be entertained when we're watching football.
That's it.
I got no problem watching two teams that I know aren't capable of winning the national title. I got no problem watching those two teams play an awesome football game. And I think I think we're gonna get a lot of that in the Big 12. And I I hope that it thrives. It's not going to be the SEC, it's not going to be the Big 10, but I want to see the Big 12 succeed.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And I I think everyone doesn't have the same bar to for what is success. I think that if they have multiple teams in the playoff that are good, quality football teams, I think that counts as a successful year for them. And maybe you get a playoff win or two. I think that, I mean, their bar is different than what it's going to be in the SEC just because you have different tiered programs. But I don't know. I think the hire has been perfect for the Big 12 in Yormark.
Love it. Wish he would have been hired a couple years earlier.
Yeah.
Now,
or are we happy he wasn't? I don't know.
I'll let you know in like 5 years.
All right.
I think that's a fair way of putting it. But yeah, and the 16 team Big 12, I think it's to be a lot of fun this season. But do I think any of those teams can, look, you'll get a bye. You win the conference, you get a bye. Do I think those teams can then go through Ohio State, Georgia, and then Bama in a championship game? Hell no.
Right.
It's not no, it's hell no. So but that, once again, that doesn't mean it's not going to be really fun.
That's right.
Who do you have as your loser of the week?
I had to go with EA Sports. And you mentioned the Arch Manning thing, and
you were suspiciously quiet when I mentioned that.
Yeah. Well, I agree. Awesome by Arch Manning. Smart of him to hold out. And rumor is 50, 60 grand that he got paid for that marketing push, the deal he did with Eli. He is going to be in the game after all. Smart for him. Incredibly stupid for EA Sports. Incredibly stupid. They allowed the precedent to be set where every top player coming back is going to hold out year over year to see what type of payday they're going to get. And maybe EA Sports is fine with that. And they're fine with shoveling out a bunch of money to who it looks like are going to be the most popular people coming back. I just think it's like there are, in my opinion, zero people that are now going to buy the game that weren't going to previously that Arch Manning is in it. I just feel like they set themselves up for failure on this deal, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's what they had to do and it's the best way to go about it, but I feel like they opened the door for every top player in college football to negotiate on whether or not they're going to be in the game moving forward.
And you mentioned that when he didn't opt in. I remember you talking about it, saying that you don't think EA should make a special deal with him.
Right.
I'm kind of torn on it because how many other guys are going to have two Hall of Fame quarterback uncles and be a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like it's such a special case. Like everyone wants to be associated with the Manning family right now with Omaha Productions. Like everyone's trying to get associated with Eli and with Peyton Manning and what they're doing. I just think it's such a unique circumstance that it doesn't really bother me because if another guy, and remember, Arch Manning hasn't played it down. He's done nothing for Texas football, but I just don't think there's going to be many situations at all where someone can go, I hold all the cards here. You do not, EA Sports.
Yeah. You
I,
may be right about that. It's very unique for
like not
sure.
even Shadur Sanders did it. And maybe they did pay him more money. I don't know.
Well, nobody did it before they saw someone make what how many times more dollars than they did? A
Right.
hundred times. Like now that they've seen that, maybe guys will not sign the paper. However, they do
It
that. I don't know. I feel like it's opened the door. Maybe there's not another circumstance like that where it comes across and it doesn't bite them. I just feel like it doesn't gain them anything. I don't think.
yeah, I just think that if you're EA Sports and you get in that conversation down the road, your first question is your uncle Peyton Manning? No? Oh, well, sorry. Here's our offer. Is your uncle Eli Manning? No. No. Is your granddad Arch Manning? No. Well, you're a great player. You won the Heisman last year, but here's our offer. Here you go. We'll put you on the cover. I don't know, but I did like the commercial. I thought the commercial was good.
Yeah.
Even
Well
worked
done.
the Omaha in there.
Well done. You got to when you got an opportunity. It's good.
I do wonder with yours. I mean, he's been banged up the last couple of years. I do wonder how much Arch Manning we're going to see this year.
No. I mean, that's the other thing about it. It's like he's hardly even played. I mean,
Hardly even played. He hasn't played at all. Like he has
I
not played a
know.
meaningful down for Texas.
I know.
But he's a Manning, man. Once again,
But he's a
everyone
man.
wants to be associated with Peyton and Eli.
It would have either been like, okay, he wasn't in the new 25 college football game and no one ever noticed and it totally is untalked about for the rest of eternity because he never made any waves in college football or the NFL. Or it's like the rare coin that, has a mistake on it. It's like, wait a minute, you're telling me that this kid that was a Manning that was eventually won the Heisman Trophy, was a number one draft pick, wasn't in the college football game. It's like a collector's edition.
I I'm glad he's in the game. I enjoyed the commercial. Got no idea if he's going to play any significant snaps for Texas this season, but bottom line for me, he's a member of the Manning family. Like that's I I don't think we are marketing wizards over here, but and I don't want to go down the Bronny James rabbit hole, but I'm guessing EA Sports they were pretty calculated in how much they paid him and why they went about it the way that they did. I I that's just my guess. I don't know.
I think what they did is they simulated all Texas's games this year and saw that when Oklahoma beat them like 55-17 and Ewers threw three picks, they knew that Arch Manning was going to come in the week after that and beat Georgia. That's what they knew. You got to have him in the game.
We got to have Arch for the bounce back. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. But first, y'all need to go to chubbyshorts.com right now, buy some of their awesome shorts, and use code BREAKDOWN for 20% off your order. I've been rocking their original stretch shorts. Good looking, super comfortable, stretchy, perfect length. It's hot right now, people. Need good shorts. Chubby's has got them. I go with the 7-inch inseam. But if you're a show some thigh kind of guy, they've got the 4 inch and the 5.5 inch as an option. Shorts are great. There's a reason they have put Chubbies on the map. Pair the original stretch shorts with Chubby's lineup of Friday shirts. You'll be cooking with gas with that look, ladies and gentlemen. From casual button downs to retro inspired prints, these shirts are built to kick back, chill out, or party down. Also, guys, you can never have too many swimsuits. Need to check out Chubby's classic lined swim collection. They've got tons of ultra vibrant colors and patterns. They are built with a quick drying 4-way stretch fabric, elastic waistband, and anti-chafe mesh liner. And you got the little zipper pocket on the back. Always need that. And would you look at this? For a limited time, our friends at Chubby's are giving our listeners 20% off with the promo code BREAKDOWN at checkout at chubbysshorts.com. That's 20% off your order with promo code BREAKDOWN. Support our show and tell them we sent you. Don't just blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubby's.
Three things matter in banking: service, service, and service. First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise, it's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they're honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you're headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go.
Look at these, Ted.
Ooh, we got some new stuff out.
New stuff from Opolis Clothing, opolisclothing.com. We've got our podcast merch and new vintage OU shirts with the disco logo.
Love it.
That's OPOLIS clothing.com and use promo code TED, TED for 10% off. Opolisclothing.com, promo code TED for 10% off. Buttery soft and 10% off. My winner of the week. We usually stick to sports on here. But dude, did you see the trailer for Gladiator 2?
Yeah.
Oh my God, let's go. Gladiator is arguably my favorite movie of all time. Definitely in my top 3. Phenomenal film. I will be completely honest. I had no idea they were making a Gladiator 2.
I didn't either.
If it's not a kid's movie, it's really not on my radar. Right? But this trailer for Gladiator 2, first of all, I'm so excited that they're making a second one. And usually when the star of the first one is not in the second one, I am skeptical. But one way to ease my concerns is to put Denzel Washington in it.
There you go.
No Russell Crowe? Okay. Denzel. Whoa.
Ridley Scott directing. Good track record.
Pedro Pascal, I love that guy. Fantastic actor. He's hot right now. He's in it. They've got the naval battles going on in the Coliseum, which when you think about historically, it was crazy that they did that, but they did it.
Crazy.
But from what I could gather, and I didn't want to read any plot outlines or anything like that, it looks like Denzel Washington is leading like a rebellion against the Roman Empire, which dude, this thing looks awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked by it. I didn't know it was coming out either. Trailer looks fantastic. Looks like it's well done. My only, because the first one, and I know all the movies have special effects, but the first one, at least I didn't get the feeling from watching it that it was all green screen.
Right,
I
all
feel like,
CGI.
yeah, I feel like today there's so many like action movies that are all green screen, and I don't know, it just doesn't give the same feeling for whatever reason. I like it to be a little more raw, I guess, but it looks awesome. I'm excited about it. I just watched the new Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley, and it was good. It wasn't great. It wasn't nearly as good as the first one, but it was good enough that I was entertained. And I guess it gets me back to where I'm feeling okay about the remakes.
It is my expectations are high now because that trailer was sweet.
It's good.
And I I love Gladiator. I think a lot of guys out there love Gladiator.
How can you
November
not?
22nd. November 22nd can't come soon enough. Hopefully, OU will have just smacked around South Carolina. No offense, Shane. We love you, buddy. But hopefully, OU will have just smacked around South Carolina and they're getting ready to go smack around Ole Miss in Oxford. Maybe we should go. Maybe we should go see it the night before the game in Oxford.
I think that's a must.
Let's do it.
I wonder if that's what the team's doing. I
We
have
got
to
to go
sneak
if
a
they're
spot
doing
on the
it.
bus. Yeah.
Yeah, that ask PV. I'm gonna let you ask. I'm gonna let his favorite player ever ask. How about that? We'll try to. Yeah, we'll try to weasel our way into that one. That would be. Oh, I'm fired up. We don't talk a lot of movies on here, but everyone was talking about that trailer, so I am pumped. My loser of the week. Thought about going with people that hate Duke. Ted, did you see what the Cooper Flagg kid did at the Team USA scrimmage?
I did, and I've seen like his high school stuff coming up what feels like for years.
Yeah, because he's incredible.
Yeah, he is.
I so they bring in, if you haven't seen it, they bring in a select team to scrimmage Team USA to tune them up for the Olympics. And Cooper Flagg, who is 17 years old right now,
Jeez.
6'9", great athlete, can shoot it. I mean, he's hitting threes in Anthony Davis's face. He's hitting turnarounds over Drew Holiday.
Can
I
handle
mean,
the ball, run the floor.
he's the talk of the scrimmage, man. And it was incredibly impressive. And by the way, shout out to them letting people film that stuff and put it out on the internet. That's really cool that they
Yep.
let him do that.
Yep.
But this guy's going to play one season at Duke before he's probably going to be the number one pick of the 2025 draft. He seems very likable. I I don't know. Duke haters are going to be in a pickle, man. And Ted, I would put you in that category. So I don't
As a
know,
Duke
man.
hater,
You're more of a Kansas. You despise Kansas. I feel. Are
yes.
you kind of neutral on Duke?
I think I'm neutral.
Okay.
I think I'm neutral. I know that they I think here's the thing. I think so many people hate Duke that I differ from that.
You're a counterculture guy.
I think in this instance I am.
When a couple years back everyone was saying meat's bad for you, everyone becoming vegans, you're like more meat.
Yeah, that's it.
And now,
That's
hey,
it.
now more meat's the thing, you know?
More meets the thing. More meets the thing.
That's funny. But yeah, Cooper Flagg, 2 G's. 2 G's on Flagg.
Is he from like Maine or something?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He went and played in a prep school, but he's from the state of Maine.
He was tearing up that Maine high school basketball scene that is legendary, I guess, right?
I
Had to
can
go
only
get
imagine what he
had to
was
get some
doing
better
in school
competition.
ball in Maine. But my loser of the week, Mike Gundy. We love him. We talk a lot about how great of a football coach we think he is, but Ted, it's never good when you go to media day and later that day you got to send the my intended point tweet. Never good, man. The quote was not great. I I think I know what he was trying to say. I think he was saying that people make mistakes all the time, just like Ollie Gordon made, who made a bad mistake drinking and driving the way that he did. But the way that the quote came out, Mike Gundy made it sound like he's gotten away with drinking and driving over the legal limit over 1,000 times in his life. That's how it sounded.
Right.
Not great. Not when you are answering a question about whether or not you're going to punish Ollie Gordon for getting the DUI, and your answer is, well, done it 1,000 times in my life. I just not good. And the fact that he even added, "Hey, it was just fine. I got lucky. People get lucky." It just, what was he going for? Help me understand.
I don't know. I think he was. I think he was trying to maybe downplay like there's different levels of DUI. And
Like, oh,
according to
do you think it was probably only two, three, maybe four beers? Do you think that played well?
oh no, I mean it played horribly, but I honestly think that's what he was trying to do. Is he's like I think he was trying to say, well, he was just barely over the legal limit. He wasn't like way over the limit. And there's like a difference there. And maybe he's right, but it's never going to be viewed that way,
No.
especially coming from him, from the head coach of a college football team. He 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 won the day up until that point. You know, like I loved the we're going to punish him by giving him the ball 50 times in the first game. I thought all that stuff was great, but it's you gotta the last brushstroke of the painting, right? You got to know when to stop.
It's unfortunate for Ollie Gordon because he went to Big 12 Media Day. He faced music. He said all the right things. He took responsibility for a horrible decision. It felt like the story was going to be Ollie Gordon showed maturity. He showed up. He took responsibility for a bad mistake. He's not going to be suspended. We're moving on. And then this Gundy quote just like poured gasoline on it and made it this big story that now has this much longer life than I think it would have. And I don't know. It just, in a weird way, I felt bad for Ollie Gordon because this Gundy quote has brought so much more attention to the situation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It was, you're about to really, they didn't even have to address it at all. They they could have not taken him down there. Gundy could have said, "We're just going to address that internally." Played him right out of the gate whenever the season started, and you would have had a handful of people mention it, and then you probably never would have heard anything about it again. And this is just going to drop it right back into the cycle.
I I thought it was the smart move taking him. And the reason why is something Ollie Gordon said. He said it would have been unfair, basically unfair for my teammates to have to answer these questions about me and my situation and what happened. So that's why I'm here. I'm here so that they don't have to answer those questions because that wouldn't be fair. I thought that was
Yeah.
I thought that was mature. I thought that was the right decision. But Gundy, what were you doing, man? We love you, man, but what was that? And I I continue to believe that these guys that are making money, like take an Uber, hire a driver, but there's also something that I experienced in the NFL. I'm tired of seeing these big time football players get DUIs when I believe it's avoidable. And while I don't think you can baby these guys and hold their hand through every little thing in life, I do think Ubers can be covered by the school for your players. Get a booster to cover the team Uber tab or make it part of your budget or start a rideshare service company where players can schedule cars. That's what NFL teams do. When I played for the Tennessee Titans, if I took an Uber, I could forward my receipt to the player engagement guy. They reimbursed me in cash.
Hmm.
When I played for the Buffalo Bills, I had a specific code. Call this rideshare service, give them this code, your ride is free. Any day of the week, anytime. I and maybe you make a rule, hey, if it's after 5 p.m., you know, or something like that. But I do
Here's how
think
old I am. The Lions had that, but no one used it because they were worried the team was like spying on who was going out and stuff.
I'm fine with that. And
But the
maybe
reimbursement is different. because the reimbursement is just you're sending in the receipt. There's, you know, they don't know when you used it. You crop the time out of the receipt, I guess. But I think that's the best way. That's good.
Yeah, and it was because, they had some problems with some players getting DUIs, and they said, you know
At
what?
this point, who hasn't? You know.
Yeah, we can address this problem. So ultimately, I just think with what the sport is now, with how much money some of these guys are making, how much money is on the line for some of these guys, I just think if you're a program, hey, do everything you can to help them make the best decisions possible. And it's also, I feel like it's a intelligence test for the players. If you still choose to drink and drive when you get free Ubers or a ride or a car service, and you're still dumb enough to go and do that, see ya, man. It's an IQ test. Also, I just I don't know how it would all work, under NCAA rules. I don't care. I don't think anyone would say, you know what, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. We don't want these college football players to be able to take free Ubers. That's ridiculous. I'm just tired of seeing these big name players in college football or any of these college football players get DUIs when I do think I've experienced it firsthand that it is an avoidable situation if your organization is willing to work with you. Now, if you choose to make an idiotic decision when that stuff is available to you, then hey, man, see ya. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a thought that crossed my mind when this Gundy quote and this Ollie Gordon situation, when it just blew up the way that it did yesterday.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. News cycle. It's dropped it right back in and started the whole process over. But yeah, no, I'm with you. It's here's the idea. Like there has to be like a super high end Uber because part of the problem with what you're saying, and I agree with everything you're talking about. The reason guys don't use it though is because they want to pull up to the club in the G Wagon or the Lambo if you're at Texas or whatever it may be, and you got to come up with a an Uber of Italian sports cars or something
High end Uber cars to drop you
yeah,
off.
to drop you off and pick you up.
I don't think
You just park like right, campus corner, and you
just
swoop in, and then you just drop them off, and they get in a regular Uber around the corner.
yeah, just get a big fleet of black SUVs like you're the damn president rolling up or something. Like
There you
just
go.
I don't know, man. I just think you can avoid some of this stuff if these schools, these athletic programs are willing to, find the money for it. I don't know. We it's happened twice now here. Big time players in the state of Oklahoma. Both those guys are extremely lucky. Nothing really bad happened. And I just want to throw that idea out there before something really bad happens.
You're
So
right.